Speaking of shit, Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
Which was decent.
Not shit.
It wasn't shit.
No.
There were bits that were shit.
It's got issues. It's
Yeah.
a film that I think is a fun time.
Yes.
It's a good time.
If you're sold on the premise of bear who does cocaine.
Yeah. You're not going to be disappointed. Yeah. It's a fun film. I think it's one of those films that's a good time that could have been a great time.
Yes.
And I think because it's so the film is like, it's obviously, it's a baby who does cocaine. It's a very silly premise.
Yeah.
And for the most part, the film does a decent job of taking advantage of that premise. I think where the problem is that I think the film has a very simple premise.
Yeah.
But then the problem is that the film is afraid, I think, to just stick to the premise.
Yeah.
It's afraid to just be like, let's keep it simple. So what it tries to do is overcomplicate it by having a ton of subplots and a ton of different like characters that kind of just loses a certain like the first act is really rough because it spends all this time setting up all of these different subplots. It
takes like half an hour to get to the bear who does cocaine.
Yeah.
Which when you're selling your movie on bear does cocaine.
Yeah, like, I mean, okay, you do get that, like, opener with, like, the couple, which is, you know, but it's like,
fun.
but it's like, where it's like, but at the same time, it's like, I don't think you need to have, like, 5 different subplots all going on at the same time of this, you know, having all these subplots in a movie that is about a bear that does cocaine. Yeah. Like, it's mainly the children in the film.
No, exactly.
That is, to me, the weakest part of the film by a long shot.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you can really tell it's the weakest part because when the film kicks into like a groove in like the second act, every single time it went to those kids, it was after a really funny scene with you know, like the drug dealers or like radios or you know, with like, or the Han Solo.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like when it was with them, it was really funny. But then what would happen is it would just like cut to the kids and then it would just be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it just dips again.
It just dips because that plot just doesn't, it just has this, I don't know, like it just feels unnecessary. Like you don't need that. There's enough, there's more, like, because to me, a film of a bunch of drug dealers who have to go into the woods to find all this lost cocaine and then discover, oh fuck, there's a bear in the fucking woods that is taking all of this cocaine. What are we gonna do? We still need to get it back, but there's a fucking bear running around.
Yeah.
That writes itself.
No, absolutely.
You could easily do an 18, 19 minute movie with that.
Yeah.
Because I think the pieces are there. Like, there's like park rangers that are quite funny. There's a whole like scene with like an ambulance.
Yeah. Which is brilliant.
Which is the best part of the film by far.
By a mile.
It's like that whole sequence is fantastic. And it's like, I think the film needed more of those.
Yes.
It needed more of those moments where you have it just keep escalating.
Well, I mean, those scenes in particular feel like what this movie wanted to be, which was a slasher movie with a bear who does cocaine.
Yeah, like it's very much a film. Yeah, it's trying to be a slasher almost.
I thought that's why it was introducing so many characters.
So it could
kill them off.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't.
No.
The characters who you'd argue should have only been introduced to be killed off are the ones who survive.
And then it kind of is like, because they're not interested enough.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like, because to me, like, the best part of the film is that it has those elaborate kind of sequences where the bear is trying to kill someone.
Yeah.
And they feel like slasher. Moments.
With
and
a stupid bear.
Yeah. And it's like, because like to me, like, Cocaine Bear's not a horror film, but
No.
I get why people are calling it that because it's obviously got that like vibe of a slasher.
Yeah, it's got the influence.
It's got like, you know, it's like all these people in the woods getting picked off by a bear. And it's like, and I think that part works really well, but then it also tries to do too much. It's like, it's a similar problem to Violent Night, although I would say purely because Cocaine Bear is shorter and it knows when to go. Like, the film's 90 minutes and although the first act is slow, I'd say for the most part the film does a decent job at keeping it moving. Whereas Violent Night has some terrible like pacing problems because they decided it'd be a really great idea for this movie to be nearly 2 hours long. And it's like, whereas like Cocaine Bear is 90 minutes and does it well.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's
No,
like,
the pacing's never a problem.
Yeah,
Except the first act.
But barring like a weak first act,
Yeah.
I think once it kind of gets through that, I mean, I even like the first act, it still moves at a decent enough pace, but it doesn't. It's not dragging its feet along. It just stumbles a bit to get to where it wants. It clearly wants to get to that destination of, oh shit, the bear's done cocaine.
Well, that's the problem. Is I think the film has a weak script. Isn't particularly funny when it comes to dialogue. It's funny in its performances.
They were smart to get a lot of actors who are just very funny when they say things. Certain things that they say just sound funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, like obviously like the main like detective guy.
Yeah.
Like he just
Loud.
his because it's the way he delivers the lines is just really funny.
Yeah.
And it's like and even like Ray Liotta, because again they have that voice, they have that persona where it's like when they're saying like, oh, like Spears done cocaine, it just sounds funny.
Fucking, I mean, Margot Martindale was probably my favourite in the film.
Yeah.
I mean, brilliant actress.
Yeah.
The way she fucking holds a gun in this is the funniest thing.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah, and it's like, and those sequences are great when you just have this, let's have this sequence where like someone accidentally gets like shot in the head or something, and it's like it's one of those where it's like I kind of wish the film was trashier, gorier than it was, because I think when it gets because the film's a 15.
Yes.
Over here, it's rated R in America, but over here it's 15. And I was thinking to myself, if this was an 18 and it just went crazy with the gore, that's the thing. A bear will fucking rip you in half, and there are some good like bits of gore in it, especially during the ambulance scene. That's where most of it is. But there are a couple of scenes where like the bear will attack someone and you'll get a bit of it, but you don't get enough. And I'm like, to me, if you're gonna try and be a slasher movie
with a bear,
go nuts with it.
Yeah.
Go absurd, like just pile it on.
Yeah.
Like, cause it's one of them. It's like I can tell it wants to be that. It wants to be that trashy movie. Like I know, like a bit like Elizabeth Banks has said, like it's kind of she wants it to be like this movie that you'd watch in like the 80s.
Yeah.
As this this trashy like VHS movie. It's like it kind of does it sometimes, but I think it still has too much of those modern issues of trying to overstuff, trying to do as much as you can. Because because it's like, I guess you're scared that the audiences are going to be into it. It's just a bear doing cocaine and people getting picked off. When that is the best part by far.
No, absolutely.
And then it's like everything else is like, I mean, the characters might feel empty, but also who the fuck is going to Cocaine Bear for the characters? who's watching? It's like fucking like, I don't know, like Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
You're not watching it for the beautiful character developments.
No, exactly. You're watching it to see a fucking bear do cocaine.
Like you're watching these movies to watch the violence.
Exactly.
It's like I watch like the Raid movies.
Yeah.
Like and like they do try plot. The second one especially, right? But I think what was good about those movies is they keep things simple.
Yeah.
But also they do enough where they go like, okay, here's an action scene.
Yeah.
It's a great action scene. Here's this action scene. There's enough action where it just keeps going with the action, and it's like it doesn't bog itself down too much on plot because it knows what you're there for.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not there to have, you're not watching The Godfather. Yeah. You're watching fucking Cocaine Bear.
No,
like you're watching a film that is very silly, and it's like when the film owns up to that, it's great.
Yeah.
It suffers, I think, from trying to be more than it actually is. When it would probably go a long way if they just went, no, like this is what this is. It's a bear that does cocaine.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think the film needs to just kind of find the cocaine and actually have the cocaine there be the central focus.
Do cocaine and then write the script.
Exactly. No, because right now it does feel like there's too much other stuff bogging it down, and it's the kids, fucking hell, the kids just aren't particularly fun. There's so much comedic potential with the kids as well, because the kids do fucking cocaine, and then
there is that sequence. Yeah. There's a sequence where they do cocaine, and then that's
nothing. Nothing at all.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's again, I think that's why, like, I think the kids are easily the weakest part. Of the film, because it just, the tone of those bits feel weird as well. It kind of contrasts from like more of the kind of, you see, it's funny where like this might sound silly, but I would love to see this by someone like the Coen Brothers.
Yeah.
Because the Coen Brothers love like their best films to me are sometimes they're like dark comedies that are typically a situation that just gets worse and worse and worse.
Well, that's what this should be.
That's what, it's, whether it's like Raising Arizona, Burn After Eden, like those films are like Burn After Eden especially is fucking hilarious because it's just this. It's a film that isn't really about anything, but it's just about like that's kind of just how the film. It's like it's this film where a lot of really bad things happen, very funny things happen, but they're really bad. People are killed. All these things happen, and it's like, but the kind of with the film, kind of a lot of the point of it is just it's all kind of meaningless.
Yeah,
and it's a film that's kind of about nothing. Yeah. But it's like, it's like. But it's one of them where it's like it doesn't try to overcomplicate. It knows like people are gonna like people will enjoy a very simple film of here's the situation, and this is the situation, and it's gonna get worse and worse and worse, and the comedy comes from just the pure like oh god like oh no, like it's getting like like people will do like a stupid thing and you're like no, why would you do that? It just keeps ramping up like that. It's absurd. But again, you're not watching Cocaine Bear.
No, exactly.
For like realism, you're watching it because a bear did cocaine.
I think it even made the mistake of just deciding that it wanted to be a slasher movie where every character who gets killed has some kind of development and setup. I wouldn't have minded if some random fucking passerbys walked by and the bear just mauled them. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like we don't need to give a shit about the characters being eaten by the cocaine bear. Yeah. The only thing we should care about is we should be fucking cheering that the cocaine bear has killed another.
Because it's one of them where like you should be enjoying it because it's like because like I don't know, like just fucking have the bear like go into like a town and like a fucking like run into like a restaurant or something and just wreak fucking
if you want to keep if you want to keep it in the woods, have like a camping site.
Yeah.
Where the bear just fucking waltzes on in. There's like a family like making s'mores and you see your dad going like, oh, I love this time. And this fucking kid gets eaten by a bear.
Because it's one of them. It's like because that would be like that would just add to like the trashiness of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it's like make it this trashy thing where the bodies just fucking pile up and it's just absurd.
Like because by the end, the fucking whoever like the gangsters or whatever, like they're the main characters. They just waltz in on this bear's like cave and it's just full of fucking bodies everywhere.
Yeah, because it's just
the bear's just there fucking like licking himself.
Yeah, because it is and that's the thing is like when it goes into those silly moments where it's like like people stumble into this bear, those parts are the funniest parts and they're the most like confident, whereas like because the film knows like it's that kind of like those sequences write themselves. It's like these people walk into like this building and there's a fucking bear in it and it's like that's just funny, like that's just like oh shit, like what you do, it's like that's already funny.
It's like somehow for being a film called Cocaine Bear it's not silly enough.
Yeah, and it's like it is because it is very silly.
Yeah.
But it can go sillier.
No, exactly.
And it's because because it restrains itself by like having like all of these subplots and having this kind of like no, like we still need to make it about like we still need to make it about something.
I wonder if part of the problem is, despite the bear obviously being on cocaine the entire time, it doesn't feel like he is, aside from like the opening where the bear is obviously like out of his mind.
Yeah.
Because he's whacking his head on a tree or whatever.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
The rest of the film, the only way we can tell he's on cocaine is he kills people.
He kills people, but also like
he's not really doing anything silly. He's just, I mean, I guess he like sits on a guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That is that, and I think he tries to like. I think the bear tries to like molest him at one point. I think.
But like, you know what I mean? I feel like we don't get enough of the bear being silly.
Yeah, which I think, like...
I guess there's that time he, like, sits on the floor. That's pretty silly.
Yeah.
But, like, you know what I mean? I thought we need a bit more.
That's pretty silly. I mean, what a silly bear.
That's very goofy of it.
What a silly little bear.
You know what I mean? I think they could get more out of it.
They could, yeah. I think it's a film that, like, I wouldn't mind to get a sequel.
Yeah.
Because as long as they go even more nuts with it.
Yeah.
Because I kind of like the idea of maybe doing another one.
Cocaine Bear 2.
Yeah, or maybe, because it sounds, because again, That is stupid.
Yeah.
But that could work if they just go more and more absurd.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Just go nuts with it.
Genuinely set the bear in the town, and it would be fucking...
Yeah, just fucking plop him in a town just to have fun.
Yeah. It writes itself.
Yeah, make yeah, because one of them... Who cares about the fucking plot? Like, it's a bear on cocaine in a town going ballistic. That's
exactly.
fun. That's great.
You can do a whole scene where there's like maybe a couple's trying to propose in a restaurant.
Yeah.
The guy gets down on one knee and he gets fucking mauled by a cocaine bear.
Yeah.
Comedy.
Yeah, it could be something like he's about to like ask this like woman like to marry her.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like he doesn't realise he has his eyes closed or something, and he looks and there's a bear just like looking at him like ready to maul.
The bear just burps and like the woman's like fucking nail comes out.
Yeah, it's like it's just because it's stupid and it's like it's absurd and funny.
Yeah,
that is funny, and it's like. But it does that sometimes. It goes into the fuck it, gore like
cocaine bear.
Yeah, it goes into that like this is what let's just be silly.
Yeah,
and it's like it does that, but it needs to go more.
No, it needs to go far more.
Further.
That's our fucking notes, Elizabeth Banks. Be better.
Be better.
Do more.
Do cocaine.
Do cocaine.
Do cocaine and then do Cocaine Bear 2.